You are not your mistakes. Let that land. You are not your mistakes. They are what you did, not who you are. And if you're in recovery, that truth is not poetic fluff. It is a lifeline. Because for too long, you've been carrying things that were never meant to define you. You've been walking around with labels burned into your identity by moments of weakness, pain, survival, and desperation. But mistakes are events. They are actions. They are chapters. They are not your name. Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that failure equals identity, that relapse equals character flaw, that bad decisions equal bad people, and that lie digs deep. It whispers when you wake up, but it shouts when you try to do better. It tells you that because you've fallen, you are fallen. Because you've hurt people, you are harm itself. Because you lost control once or 100 times, you can never be trusted again. That lie is heavy, and it kills people. Recovery begins the moment you separate who you are from what you've done. Not to excuse it, not to minimize it, but to tell the truth about it. Responsibility does not require self-destruction. Accountability does not require self-hatred. Growth does not come from shame. It comes from honesty and courage. Let's be real. Some of you did things you never thought you would do. You crossed lines you swore you never would. You lied to people you loved. You burned bridges. You disappeared when you were needed. You broke trust, sometimes your own. And the easiest thing in the world is to look at that wreckage and decide, this is who I am. But that's not truth. That's trauma talking. That's pain trying to turn into a permanent identity. Your mistakes were attempts to cope. They were survival strategies that went too far, lasted too long, or cost too much. They were born in pain, fear, loneliness, untreated wounds, and unmet needs. That doesn't make them okay, but it does make them understandable. And understanding is the doorway to change. Here's the part no one tells you. If you were truly your mistakes, you wouldn't feel this pain about them. You wouldn't feel guilt. You wouldn't feel regret. You wouldn't feel the ache to be different. The very fact that you want change proves there is more to you than your worst moments. Monsters don't grieve the harm they cause. They don't seek healing. They don't show up to do the work. You are here because something in you knows you are more than the damage. Recovery is not about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about refusing to live there. It's about learning how to look at your story without being swallowed by it. It's about saying, yes, I did those things, and no, they are not the final word on who I am becoming. There is a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am something wrong. Guilt can guide you. Shame will bear you. And recovery demands that you learn to put shame down. Not because you're avoiding responsibility, but because you can't build a future while carrying a wrecking ball on your chest. Some of you are trying to recover while still punishing yourselves every day. You wake up clean, but you beat yourself up before your feet even hit the floor. You replay old scenes like evidence in a trial where you are both the defendant and the executioner. You tell yourself you don't deserve peace yet, you don't deserve joy yet, you don't deserve trust yet. But here's the truth. Healing is not a reward you earn after suffering enough. Healing is a necessity. And you don't heal by bleeding forever. Yes, there are consequences. Recovery does not erase them. Some relationships may never be the same. Some doors may stay closed. Some losses are permanent. But consequences are not identity. They are outcomes. And outcomes can be lived with, learned from, and carried with integrity if you stop turning them into proof that you are unworthy of life. At Hopetown, we see this every day. people come in convinced they are broken beyond repair, convinced their past disqualifies them from dignity, purpose, or hope. And slowly, sometimes painfully slowly, they begin to realize that the story they've been telling themselves is not the whole truth. They start to see themselves not as failures, but as people who survived something brutal and are learning a better way to live. You don't erase your past by denying it. You redeem it by transforming what it teaches you. The pain you caused does not have to be wasted. The pain you endure does not have to define you. When you choose recovery, you are choosing to turn wounds into wisdom. You are choosing to say, "This stops with me." That is not weakness, that is strength forged in fire. Let's talk about relapse for a moment, because it's one of the places where identity gets most twisted. Relapse is not proof that you are hopeless. It is proof that something in your recovery needs attention. It is information, not a verdict. And when relapse becomes identity, I'm just a screw up, people stop trying. They spiral, they disappear, they die. But when relapse is treated as a signal instead of a sentence, people learn, adjust, and grow stronger. You are not your worst day. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the version of yourself that existed when you were drowning. You are the person who is still breathing, still showing up, still trying, and that matters more than you've been told. Recovery is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming honest about your pain, honest about your patterns, honest about your responsibility, honest about your capacity for change. And honesty requires self-compassion, not self-indulgence, but self-respect. The kind that says, I will face what I've done without destroying who I am. Some of you were told your whole life that you were the problem, that something was wrong with you at your core. That belief sinks deep, and substances, behaviors, escapes, they didn't create that belief. They tried to numb it. Recovery asks you to challenge it, to question it, to replace it with truth. Here's the truth. You are a human being who learned how to survive in imperfect ways. Now you are learning how to live. That transition is messy. It is uncomfortable. It requires humility and grit. But it is possible. And there is a future version of you that is not defined by this chapter. A version that wakes up without the constant weight of self-hatred. A version that takes responsibility without collapsing under it. A version that can look someone in the eye and say, I am not proud of who I was, but I am committed to who I am becoming. That version is not a fantasy. It is built through daily choices, through structure, through community, through honesty, and through refusing to let the past write the future. You don't need to prove you've changed by hating yourself forever. You prove you've changed by living differently today, by showing up, by doing the work when no one is watching, by keeping your word, by asking for help before everything falls apart, by choosing life again and again, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it doesn't feel rewarding yet. Forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, is not pretending nothing happened. It is releasing the need to keep punishing yourself for something you are actively working to change. You are allowed to grow beyond who you were. You are allowed to outgrow your worst moments. You are allowed to build a life that looks nothing like your past. And let's be clear, separating identity from mistakes does not mean lowering standards. Recovery raises them. It calls you to a higher level of integrity, responsibility, and awareness. But it does so without stripping you of your humanity. It says, you matter enough to change. And that is a powerful message. If you're early in recovery, this might feel impossible to believe. Shame is loud in the beginning. The past feels close. The damage feels fresh. That's okay. Belief can come later. For now, just practice not condemning yourself. Practice telling the truth without adding a death sentence to it. Practice staying long enough for healing to begin. There's no expiration date on redemption. No timeline where it's too late. As long as you're alive, there's capacity for change. And the fact that you are here, listening, reflecting, considering, means the story is still being written. You are not your mistakes. They are what you did, not who you are. Who you are is revealed in what you do next, in how you respond, in how you take responsibility without surrendering your worth, in how you choose to live today. At Hopetown, we believe recovery is possible because people are not reducible to their worst decisions. We believe people can heal, rebuild, and become contributors to their families and communities, not because they're flawless, but because they're willing. So if you're carrying shame today, hear this clearly. You do not have to wear your past as a life sentence. You can learn from it without living inside it. You can honor the harm by living differently. You can choose to become someone new, not by erasing who you were, but by transforming it. This is your moment to stop confusing behavior with identity, to stop letting the past name you, to stop telling yourself a story that keeps you stuck. You are not your mistakes. You are a human being in recovery. And that means you are in motion, you are becoming, and your future is still open. Stay, do the work, choose life, and remember who you are.